All right, we are back. So, just a little recap. We had a very, very action-filled adventure the last time that we had a session. We were winding down for an evening after working really hard all day, trying to assist the Aurora Watch Guard with all of their um, building of defenses and just doing a bunch of tasks that they were trying to set about the fort and then all of the area around the grove. And you're just settling down for the evening, listening to some music and drinking a little bit when the war horn sounded as a full-on demon invasion happened. Uh, all a massive offensive on the fort itself came in. With just the handful of guards that were actually here in the fort, many were out in the surrounding area that we didn't see many of, actually, as Captain Hicks and a small bit of his squad was the ones that sounded the initial horn nearby, as just ahead of them hitting the fort itself. So everybody kind of made to the walls and saw large groups swarming in all over. Uh, Several of the Aurora Watch members died valiantly, as many of these demons were working very directly to look like tear down the defenses more so than they were focused on actually killing people. Many of the demons only it seemed like their only task was to tear down the defensive towers in each of the corners to make weaknesses in the walls, etc.
I, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt. Does this is maybe my ignorance, or maybe I don't, maybe my character's ignorance. I don't know, but is it is it a trivial matter for these demons to enter this realm or this plane or whatever it's called, or is it something that we should be like looking for? Like, how are they getting here more and more? Or is it just like, well, I guess they're attacking us and that they can appear anywhere and that's just how it is? What's the
No, it
feeling of that
is
in this realm?
normally like they do infiltrate through small gateways and the like, but in large number is nearly unheard of, except through major gates. And there have been a couple of major gates, of which one is in Bazazan, that they haven't been able to close, so they keep it guarded and prevent any from spilling out into the world in any kind of numbers. So just out of nowhere, in the middle of with no warning or no known source, very like not even just rare, like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I guess the focus of the question was, is is that kind of like, because of that, is that kind of a lead for our party to be like, we should be searching for a gate, or is it more like something really fishy is going on? Is it more like that? I didn't know how our characters would react.
I don't either. I think that's
Okay,
kind of up to how y'all want to think about it. Uh,
Some of this is leading into something my character is wanting to talk to everyone about. So maybe we can explore it at the start.
I'll turn you up too. I'm sorry.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the just to kind of finish the recap just a little bit, you did manage to actually take everything down. Like I said, many of the Aurora Watch guards had died, including both of the main ogre guards. But you did manage to kill the weird, almost like general that was riding a flaming warhorse
Yeah, we did.
that was assaulting. And all the individuals were taken out as well. Throughout the night, as you know, as you actually get a full night's rest thereafter, with no more horns going off or any of that kind of thing, and then y'all had all awoken at the very beginning of the next day, still like right on the edge of dawn. So it wasn't a very long sleep, but it was enough to be considered a long rest. And so that's where it's kind of off to you for the moment, at least, on what you would like to do to start today.
I want to ask Kazrin what he thinks. If I just want to say, I just want to propose that if there's a gate, demonic gate in this area, that they're able to bring large number of forces through, does he think that there's some signature of that we might be able to track, or what we would need to track it? I wonder if he knows that.
I actually have to make a roll to see if I know something like that.
Yeah, go ahead and roll an Arcana roll if you'd like.
One second, sorry.
Particularly with the experience you already had with what was like some kind of demon lord coming through a gate not long ago. Something in and of itself was also unheard of. Particularly the elements of permanency that you were able to glean, that were being, like magics that were being woven through some kind of ritual from the other side. That's also unheard of. The gates themselves are normally temporary. That some massively powerful demons able to either through some events on one side or another are able to make a bridge or a gateway between the two realms, usually coinciding with some more like astrological kind of things. There's multiple universes, and they themselves move through something called the astral sea, in different than what is like space. So like planets and moons and stars work like space does in the real world, and they're all moving around in this universe. And these universes are moving around in something called the astral sea. And when they get close to one another, the bridge between the two different planes of existence is a little. The veil is a little easier to rupture, to puncture, to create a gateway for. But it takes some kind of massive undertaking, and it usually takes something from both sides. Usually, without something extremely powerful, like one of the handful of the demon pencils, at the right time under the right conditions, can pierce these gates, can pierce the veils. I mean, and make these gates. And then usually a handful come in, and chaos ensues, and that chaos tends to feed power, because that's kind of how the demons operate in general. Is their power is bred through chaos, and so the more chaos there is, the more powerful they are, and the more influence they have, and then they can open more gates, and that kind of thing tends to, like in all of history, tends to be what has happened with these small incursions. A few times, they're able to make a gate through some kind of astronomically large amount of power or some crazy thing that's taken place that stays open. So like the one in Bazzoxan came from when the gods fought. The betrayer gods fought the prime deities, and the prime deities cast them down, and then that what the power that and chaos that kind of ensued as a result of literal gods fighting was enough for them to actually create a permanent gateway. So that's kind of what you know about those things.
Okay, but
I think this is a good time for, as Kazran saying, all of us to discuss why we're here. Um, I know what me and where did, I'm missing a guy.
Balazar.
Balthazar, yeah. Uh, I know what me and my brother are here. These things that keep happening. I think it's linked. It's linked. It's got to be linked to this thing, and I kind of point to the amulet I have. I don't think we're going to be getting away. I think this is going to be the norm from here on out.
yeah, I suspect that they're seeking or they're drawn to the amulet, perhaps. Um, I feel like we should probably make haste. Uh, I think if we're going to get some answers about the amulet, we're going to have to get to Bazzoxan the hard way.
Yeah, I would like to have a chat with Hicks before we go to fill him in on the what we didn't tell him earlier, and maybe we can look up and catch a ride. Maybe they got some people going that way to make our lives a little bit easier on the way.
Yeah, I'm game for that.
You don't think he'll be a little mad at us not telling him, and like, if, especially if we let all those demons here and killed a bunch of his men because of it?
Oh, I don't. I think there's freaking demons everywhere. I don't think they necessarily followed us here.
Well,
That
if they're attuned to that amulet and they're coming after that, then like us staying here put everyone in this camp at risk.
they were prepping for something. That demon lord we saw. I mean, we were lucky. That thing could have taken down the empire. I think. So I don't know. I think we should just debrief Hicks and then finish our business here and go. Kazrin's a little more on mission, more so than typical. We saw these fucking demons.
Well, we should see if we can aid them any before we leave to recover.
Out of character, you still have, assuming your maker didn't die, you still have your cloak you were getting made.
Assuming.
I tell them, I say, fate has brought me here. My death will be glorious, but it's not soon. So, we'll be. Uh, we should just make haste.
Yeah, I think there's a high chance that we're all gonna die, but there's a whole lot of chance if we don't, we're gonna be fucking rich. So, yeah, I guess I'll look around. What is the state of the camp right now?
Until yeah, and until we're ready to like go on, if they're making repairs or something, I just want to lend a hand with that, just as a sign of unity.
Yeah, there are quite a few. Like many people took rest when you did. Um, most of the uh, company that was here in the fort itself, they're the ones that took rest. But you have noticed, like especially like the last little bit, you've been talking, you've been up. You can actually see that there's been a handful of straggling small squads come in throughout the from the trees surrounding from all different directions. Many of which are wounded, um, hobbling in. People, leaning on one another as they're helping their compatriots to try to make it back. And then so as the camp is waking up and they're moving off. They looked like they were fixing to start doing repairs, but they kind of shifted gears. And they're now more, treating all the people as they're trickling in from the surrounding area. The captain went last night when you went to sleep. The captain went into the hut in the north side of the camp, as well as a whole swarm of his particular uh, company or squad or whatever his little thing is that was all coming in ahead of that enemy general, and they all went inside, and you haven't seen any of them yet this morning.
I think I was also in that position because I was over here-ish. I think when the fiery horse sort of he suicided against that little magical barrier or whatever that was, didn't it? Or it killed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it it blew up like a grenade went off on its inside, like a closed fist, and it just blew to pieces everywhere.
I'd just like to go ahead and cast Detect Magic and just take a look around through those eyes.
Okay, yeah. It is pretty sudden, immediate, and intense. The amount of magic emanating from the hut to the north. There looks to be layer on layer on layer of like aura on top of aura on top of aura, stacked like many layers in an onion, all surrounding that hut in the north. It is also, as you stand watching it, growing larger, slowly, but it is ever so much getting a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger.
I kind of point that out to the crew. I think Thena had witnessed some of this already last week. I'm not sure if everyone else. They just said there's auras there. They're protecting something in there. Did we lose our 2 ogre guards? I
We
forgot.
did. They both died, I
Yeah,
think.
both died.
Damn it.
They should have had that last cup of soup.
That was just the hardiness that they were missing.
I know, right? Would have given them a +1 to stamina.
The one thing you note is a lot of the citizens. You know, they were the merchants, just the regular folk that were coming and going. They just happened to be kind of trapped in this spot when things went bad. Many of them, they're kind of packing up and or just going through inventory, checking what they've got. But they seem to be almost to a T looking to get the hell out of here.
Well, you need to catch your merchant, Thena, before he gets away. I don't even know if he's had time to do it with all that garbage going on.
He was one of the guards, guys.
Oh, okay.
He's probably dead.
Well, did you pay half up front, and what did you do? I forget how it all played out.
No, I had to pay it all, and then I threatened to kill him if he cheated me.
Oh,
Too
yeah,
late.
yeah.
So I guess I look for him. Is he dead or alive?
That particular soldier you do find over with the other armorers, he is still alive. You can see him actually working on something, and it looks as though he hasn't slept.
Okay.
Cut him some slack now.
I'm not even going to interrupt him.
I mean, you want to just say, because we had to bring him some soup.
Yeah, I think it's only been 1 day of the 2 days. I think
Yeah,
so. I think we have to get through. Might have to stay another night if we're gonna wait on that.
Unless he's just like frazzled and just made it awesome.
Cocaine.
Razzle dazzle.
Alright, so I'm going to go buy him a beer and some kind of warm, mushy breakfast sustenance.
Delicious.
No, like oatmeal,
Yeah, a little breakfast porridge.
Yes.
Sticks to your ribs
Mm-hmm.
and your mouth and your throat and everything else.
Liquid breakfast. That's good.
And then after I deliver that, I guess I kind of head over to the cabin again and sort of see if Hicks is out or if
Okay. Yeah, so
anyone's guarding it.
So when you take the, refreshments to the guard himself, you can see him stand up and salute you. Ma'am, sir, ma'am. And he nods his head.
Here for your efforts. It looks like you haven't had much sleep, so at least have some sustenance.
We seen what you did. I worked through the night. It'll be ready soon.
Excellent.
Much appreciated.
The lives of many of my brothers are saved thanks to you. We won't forget that.
Dina just kind of nods as if it's about time somebody started showing some respect.
And then he just kind of nods back to ma'am, and then he sits back down and starts working on.
And I just kind of look towards the, I think it'd be the north. Just look and see if see my raven. I don't expect to. I'm just looking.
The raven has not returned.
That's just where my thoughts are, anyway.
At
You
this
did.
rate, I'd
You
be
did send
surprised.
it the like you can't communicate directly, but you can send emotion. Right back when we talked about that a little bit, and you'd kind of indicated that you wanted it to come back, but it was pretty far away, and so it hasn't had time to do that. Like it, you imagine if it turned and came straight back, that it, because you went a full day in the opposite direction. It went a full day in the opposite direction, so it's going to take some time for it to catch back up to you.
I say kind of the group, it would have been nice if AO and their crew was maybe able to travel with us. If they're not already dead.
Based on what we've seen, I kind of doubt we'll see them again.
Who knows?
It isn't very much longer. As you're, you're kind of talking to people, you were almost heading back toward, like you talked to the armor, you talked to each other, and you were heading over to try to check on the hut. And about that time, you actually see Captain Hicks walk out with his squad behind him, out of the actual hut itself, out into the main foyer, and you can see him kind of stop at the top of the big stairs and just yell across the camp, "Attention! It is the decree of the Bright Queen. All civilians are to evacuate immediately and head to the nearest city."
Well, think that's us.
All right.
At this
Let's.
rate, do we really count as citizens?
Well, we're not staying
Yep.
here. Let's just take that as our leave. Gather up our stuff.
We can wait. We can wait for the
Well, I mean,
The
island
cloak.
to
We're
get
not. We're gonna wait for the cloak. Come on.
well, we should still talk to Hicks anyways, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
On our way out.
Yeah, and you could already see that, like as you kind of turn, all the citizens that were already there were just like, "Yep, no shit, I'm out of here." Like, and they've been packing for the last hour or so anyway, and they're all nearly ready to just move on out. And with that last little decree, there you can see them. I mean, that's it. That was the last straw they needed to make the last push to get out, and many of them are gathering mounts and putting on backpacks and starting the trudge out of the camp.
Are they going as a kind of a big caravan, or are they just loosely?
well, I thought they'd be headed to Bazazan anyways.
No, I'm talking about the people going north. I'm assuming that we're going to go to Battle City.
They're not actually going in any kind of concerted effort to stay together. A couple are perhaps, but not as a whole. They're just getting out and leaving as soon as they can. Like if you stop and ask one, I mean their response is, numbers are attracting attention. So, like, normally there's safety in numbers, but numbers don't save you from this. So if they spread out, they have a better chance of some of them getting somewhere.
Do we know anything about this Bright Queen?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's the Queen of the Empire, which we all reside in the Empire.
I was about to answer, and my answer would have sounded like such an asshole, and I didn't mean to. It was like, yeah, she's our queen. but yeah.
Drama queen.
I assume they have. Was she in the hut, or they just have some kind of communication with her?
I would say she would have the ability to communicate. They would have a lot of high level wizards. Although there is a lot of magic protecting something here. I don't know. Don't know. The Bright Queen is actually here.
That you do not. After making the decree, Captain Hicks, you can see him walking around talking to different individual guardsmen and the like. And, you're still loitering kind of in the middle of the camp, thinking about leaving and that kind of thing, but you can hear him talking to them. He's giving them a little morale pep talk, cheer up. We're we won, we have the day. The sacrifice was worth it. Roll a perception check.
He doesn't believe that.
Everyone roll a perception check. I want to see how much of what he tells them that you hear. Alright, not a whole lot. Okay.
Perceptive.
So as you... Go ahead.
No, never mind. Go ahead.
So the one thing that you do hear him say is that, as he's giving the morale pep talk, that he says, that they did their job valiantly, and they will be relieved that they are going to be regrouping, and then an entire battalion is coming.
Oh wow.
Something serious in that cabin that they're trying to protect.
Maybe it's the queen herself. Who knows? What's she doing out here, maybe?
Not my problem.
I think
That's
everything.
military for their shit.
I think everything here is pretty much linked to what we're doing, though. I think it's all going to be our problem.
So is Catherine going to talk to Hicks?
I sent him the message last night that we needed to talk when he had a chance.
Oh, okay. So we're just kind of waiting for him to come to us.
No. He's too busy. We go to him.
Yeah, now that he's out in the middle of walking around, he's not hard to spot, for one thing, but also he'd be easy to approach.
Well, if Brutus just starts running towards him, then I'll follow.
No. That's not what Brutus would do. I mean, that's what he would advise. He's not a liaison type.
But he is one to run into danger.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Well. So who's gonna be the one to kind of head off the conversation with Hicks?
I mean, my full expectation is that it's Kazarin, but because Thena will probably offend him.
Hey now, I'm the one that convinced him to let us stay.
And the rest of the
Remember
camp.
that?
Yeah, the fact that Kazrin and Thena are the face is a danger in its own.
Well, I mean, you got to look at the competition, though. I mean,
Alright, I kind of nudge Kaz and say, there's no time like the present. Might as well talk to him now.
All right, making my
We
way.
both go over there.
Making way.
Making a way downtown.
All right, so yeah, just walk. You approach Captain Hicks, and then you can see, like as you approach, he's, kind of nods with whatever conversation that he was having with the current guardsman, and he just turns as you approach. He kind of moves his full attention to you. Ah, yes. So you all survived. I knew you would.
So far.
So far, indeed.
Yeah. We may have failed to include a small bit of information from our last story.
Hmm.
There are things we well, if we led with this, you probably would have thought us to be crazy and not even let us through the gates. Uh, there is one other thing we saw on the path.
You see him put like when you start talking, you see him put his hand, like he's still standing kind of stoically, but he does put his hand on his hilt. Not like reaching over like he's gonna draw or something, but you can see that he's got his hand on the hilt of his longsword. Go on.
I use my my prestidigitation to kind of make out a small little demon lord. I kind of start at his feet and zoom up to give it the proper scale. We came across this.
You just see like his mouth, his jaws just kind of open as he's sitting there staring at you a little bit. And what is that?
Probably just a demon lord from the abyss trying to break through. No big deal, right?
We managed to stop it though. That's the important thing.
Want to qualify that statement there? This, and I just pull out the amulet. This is our mission. We were hopelessly, laughably outmatched. We lost one of our friends. We all probably should have died. This closed that gate. It was making a foothold here.
What do you mean closed the gate?
He was coming through. I cast magic through this, and the gate closed. And
Like-
I've been trying to make this work ever since, and nothing.
And and by gate you saw a physical portal gate opened.
I sent my familiar through it.
Show him the pictures. Show him the picture.
Yeah, just kind of prestidigitate some images of that. I sent my familiar through it, and it went somewhere else, not of this plane.
That's not a normal gate. Normally you don't even see those. Normally it's just a piercing of the veil that a handful of these suckers just seep through. It's not some physical thing. But you're seeing this physical thing, and it looked like it was summoned with some kind of magic, and this thing was coming through it?
I don't know how it was summoned,
Yeah, something like that. That about sums it up.
but
And
yeah,
it was opened on this side. Not
That's
to
where
their
it was-
side, on our side.
yeah, it was coming to us. It was coming here.
That's not normally how it works. That's just not how it works.
Nothing we've seen has been normal since we left Jigao. This was between here and Jigao, a demon lord.
On the other side. To the north. And where were you headed again? For research? Is that what you said? Research?
Back to Zan. Hard time saying that. Yeah, we Elder Elder Ushu thought this could be a vestige. I just thought we're on a job to go. I didn't think it was anything. It's something.
You seem kind of like you see, take his hand off the hilt as he kind of crosses his arms, and so he just hired some mercenaries to carry it to Bazazan for some reason.
We found
Why
it.
you?
We found it.
You just found it.
And he had visions. Again, we just left for a job. You called us heroes earlier. We're not heroes. We just had a job.
I think
And-
nearly every person in this camp would disagree with you. Job or not, doesn't change what you are. And so why tell me this now?
You're more apt to believe us now.
Say that right.
And this has to be, this is not a coincidence. This has to be somehow linked to everything that's going on here. Linked to this damned amulet that I can't seem to figure out. So, let you know what you are up against.
We also
And-
thought maybe you might have a guy who might know more about it. Possibly.
Yeah,
Any information that we have as to how to, I don't know, turn it on and off maybe would be helpful for in case we encounter anything on the way to Bazazan.
I imagine that's going to be out of the expertise of the normal spell slingers. They are more specifically trained for combat purposes. They're not really historians on vestiges from times before the calamity. Nor do we have any idea what the hell that really means.
Yeah, we weren't sure.
But
if
this
there was
thing
anybody else
closed
here.
one of those gates that were open on this side, or opening on this side.
Shut him right the fuck down.
6 full companies of spellslingers subdued a portal that was being opened not far from here. Only a handful of what made it through made it to the fort last night. Every single one of all 6 companies died in the ensuing blast that closed the portal. They had to put more than just the death of from the repercussions of the event, but they literally had to put their life into the magic they were casting. A sacrifice. And this closed it. No. Part of me is intrigued. Part of me wonders if you should even have it. But that's not for me to say. In fact, it's a strange coincidence. I was just told that you had something. Something I was supposed to let you have. I suppose this ought to be it.
Just told by whom?
Good question. Good question.
He kind of puts his finger on his nose. That one has to stay with me, I'm afraid.
Looked at Thane as like, I believe you were right. Probably never say that again, but
Well, you'll say it a lot more. Well, you might not say it, but it'll be true.
Many of my company is leaving. There is a battalion coming to relieve us. We need to regroup, debrief, reassemble, rest.
And when do you expect the battalion to be here?
Likely a week, but it's hard to say. So this company is most of all in the area, so they're sending a battalion from the main city itself. The entire reserve guard.
From Jigao.
Not Jigao.
Are they stationed in Azazan? Is that what we know?
No, they, Captain Hicks came from Bazzoxan.
Oh.
But the main battalion's coming from the main city.
The
I was gonna try to open it back up, I forgot.
shore house?
The map, yeah.
Urzen? Or... Sorry, yes.
The entire reserves from Jorhas? I put that
so,
map.
yeah, as I say, our map does not have the main Empire city on it. And I was trying to remember. So Jorhas is like one area of the Empire.
Oh, okay.
Or the dynasty, rather. I guess it's technically known as the dynasty, not the Empire. The Empire is actually the people across the ocean. I thought I had a map. Let's see.
Yeah, the map that I have a few bits up in Discord was just a copy of the map you had. I didn't realize Jorhas was a region. That was a main city. I found this on Google, but I thought it was the same one that you were linking in Discord.
Oh, well, I can't find it. Oh, it is Roshana. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
Oh, Roshana's even more east.
On the other side of the barbed fields, in the south side, though. Opposite
Oh,
of Bazzoxan.
Gotcha. Okay. So the battalion's coming from Roshana, and Captain Hicks' company will be returning to Bazzoxan after they're relieved.
Yep. That is correct.
I say we have some. I don't know if friends is the right word, but coming from the north potentially, led by a Genasi named Ao. If they come through, I'm sure they'll be quite valuable to you.
Genasi? What
Yeah,
what kind of Genasi?
water.
In a group led by Water Genasi?
Yeah, have you seen one?
Yeah, actually, about a day before you got here.
What?
How did they get ahead of us?
It's because Brutus wanted to stop and sleep all night.
So
He
my
can't
bird
see
would have
in
had
the
a.
dark.
So, where were they going?
This changes everything.
They were on their way to Bazazan. Although they
Yeah.
did not say anything about research or some other um, anything about vestiges or great powers or any, to be honest, any exploits that they had made on their path. They were making quick time and they had to
What
go
did
there
they
for
say?
business, and that was it.
Business.
They're like way more efficient than we are. Of course,
Whoa.
they probably didn't have to kill a fucking demon lord.
Which
I imagine they did not.
makes me think it is even more related to the amulet. If we got waylaid by a demon lord and other.
We don't know, like, I say this to Hicks, like, the power of this amulet. We don't know if they're drawn to it. We don't know if they're coming for it, if they even know it exists, or we know so very little.
I don't think I can help you much there.
The answers lie in Bazazan. Let's make haste.
If there's anyone that does, those that study that place, they would know. They know more about demons than, quite frankly, anyone on all of Exandria.
So, do you know what's been opening these portals? Do you have anything you can share on that end?
I do not, and that is not for matters of secrecy. I do not know.
Everyone going back to their cities need to be careful. There's no place safe. I suppose Shigal's the best bet for him, but we've ran into a lot just between there and here.
I'm afraid that there will be many refugees, perhaps fleeing to the Empire after this. But who's to say this could be localized here or everywhere? We don't know. Bazazan has been the source at which we have kept contained for nearly a millennia. Now, other places out of nowhere with no triggers, no wars in the heavens, no wars on the fields. No weird evil wizards with their sinister ways standing about making pacts and opening up portals from this side. They're opening up on this side from the other side. That doesn't happen. Well, it didn't happen. But now it does.
Well, that's a wonderful note to end this on. Dungeon Master, were you saying he had something for us, or was I misreading something?
No, he said that he knew that you had something and he wasn't supposed to take it.
Oh, okay.
From
But
whoever had told him that.
Yeah,
So I kind of put the amulet, back under my shirt. I was like, well, if you find our corpses, you know what you need to grab.
Let us hope it never comes to that.
We really got to catch up to that damn Genasi. It's a matter of pride at this point.
Yeah, we were like, let's just get going. We won't bother them. They'll be along shortly. We don't even know if they left before us, correct?
No, what they were saying, yeah, we thought we left first.
Yeah,
Pretty
we
sure we
got up
did.
early.
Y'all had met that morning, and then they were like, yeah, maybe this afternoon we'll leave, something like that. And y'all had breakfast, and I think y'all had lunch, and then you left right after lunch. But it may have been that they didn't wait and left right away.
Okay, well, I'm desummoning my damn bird, and I'm going to resummon my bird.
Will it have
Okay.
memory of where it was? Is that how the familiar works?
Yeah, like, I can send him out on things, and he'll be, like, out of my control. But I can also, I'm pretty sure I can just kind of desummon him so I can re-pick him back up.
Well,
'Cause
yeah, it's not so much of desummon and then resummon. He just desummons when you resummon him. So it's like he just goes from there to here when you summon him again. Whether there happens to be another plane of existence that you've pulled him from, or not. That's
Apparently, I sent him in the wrong direction. So, do I see my note is still on him or not?
like when you summon him back,
But yeah, it might disappear. It might not stay with
it
him.
would
when
disappear wherever he was. Yeah, because
Okay,
it's
so-
him that gets pulled through the planes from whatever plane he's on to you wherever he's at, and it's him that gets
So I
pulled.
wouldn't know if they got the note or not.
Drop the note, probably.
Yeah, they probably would just drop the note. The little ribbon tying it to its leg.
Oh, yeah.
Before we walk away from Hicks, I ask him if there's like anything that he needs done, before we leave.
He just kind of holds up his hand a little bit. Don't worry yourselves on that. Nothing we can't handle. With the portal closed, we think we have some time. Don't know how much time, but we'll be ready.
One last question. How did you, discover the portal or find it or...
Yeah, you're able to track them at all?
know where it was?
Some of the mages were able to divine once we knew what we were looking for. We had found, some of the patrols had found small squads that were out scouting, and we had managed to kind of follow their trail back. And that's when we brought in the Spellslinger squads, or companies.
I see.
Luckily it hadn't been fully opened, or at least not to its full extent of permanency. Or time we wouldn't have.
Kazran and Balasar would know this. They said they lost 6 companies. How many people's in a company, roughly?
I want to say it was like, each company is like 60 or so, something like that, or 60 to 100, depending on the type of, like, the division that they're from. So Spellslingers would be a smaller for a company of them than, say, than like Expeditionary Forces or something like that. It might be 100 to 200 for a company of Expeditionary Forces. Spellslingers are probably more like 50 to 60 for a company. So, nearly 300 mages died closing that portal.
If only they had an amulet.
Special amulet, not just any, but...
Doesn't everyone have them? That's
We don't even
my-
know what kind of. Is it even an amulet? Is the question.
I don't really know so far about Ushu. Elder.
I mean,
elder.
anything with tied to a string you can wear around your neck could be an amulet, right? I guess.
Yep.
I got this great sword amulet. That's
Doesn't go through TSA so well. Well, I guess we should go ahead and prepare to head to Bazzoxan.
That's
You
what
don't-
everyone else is doing.
You don't have any transports going that way, do you? Any caravans you could assist?
not for a few days yet.
Yeah, I don't think we should wait that long.
With that, I think we are in agreement. I think your time is of the essence on this one. Either way, it has been a pleasure. And then he salutes.
Take care.
Off we go to the east. Finally. Wait, the cloak.
Well, we still have to pack too.
Oh, yeah, we gotta like get provisions and
Yeah.
gotta hire a music trainer to teach me to play the pan flute. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, he needs lessons.
No.
Yeah. Alright, well, let's go. Because if I remember correctly, we're like in the middle of the camp thing, but our little tent area where we set up our bedrolls was not in the middle. It was like kind of on the edge, right?
Yeah, it was on kind of like the east-southeast side of it all, over on the other side of the civilians. Like when there was the big bonfire, was kind of in the southeast corner, and so we're just kind of hanging out over there.
Okay, so if we have like a little bit of time, brother, help me test something. And we go like to maybe a corner out of the way somewhere. And I ritual cast Leoman's tiny hut.
Ooh, okay. Leoman's tiny hut. So that'll take you a little over, an hour and 10 minutes then for that particular spell?
It's casting time of a minute. Does a ritual add
an hour.
an hour?
It adds an hour. Yeah,
No, I thought ritual was 10 minutes.
I was
Yeah,
thinking of
ritual's
something.
10 minutes.
Yeah, I was thinking of something else.
Yeah, you're thinking something way
there's,
different.
there's another spell that takes an hour to cast that we were doing all the time, so it took an hour and 10 minutes. That's why it took an hour and 10 minutes. Okay.
So I want to do some testing on this thing, right? So we see this tiny hut appears, and I get in the
Tiny we
hut.
talking? Oh, okay, not that tiny.
It's like it can fit it's a 10-foot radius. It can fit like several people. So I get in there, and I say, "Balasar, can you hear me? And can he hear me? If he's outside the hut and I'm in the hut."
Yeah, he can hear you.
Okay. And I guess Balasar says something back, and I can hear him.
You can. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's good to know. It's good to know. Balasar, hit me. Hit this tent.
What's happening?
Take your sword and just hit it.
Pick up a rock and I throw it at the tent.
All right, roll an attack roll. You pick up a rock, you throw it at the tent, and even without sound, it hits and deflects off as though it hit a solid surface.
You hear Kazrin laugh. So I poke my head out. I was like, come on in.
We go in.
I walk into his magic bubble.
Okay.
So when you
Cosrin, is
cast,
this your safe space?
when you cast the spell, who was granted entry?
My party.
Okay, so you did allow the 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Brutus walks in. Not except for Brutus.
Access denied.
Don't just walk right into a wall. Oh, it's glass window.
So when everybody's in there, I want to stick my head out, and I want to stick my arm out. I want to kind of stick my chest out. I want to leave my foot in there, and then I take my foot, and I'm just like right outside it. Does it stay or does it disappear?
Does it what? Stay or disappear?
Does the tent stay or does it disappear?
Yeah, it's like a dome that has like a shimmering effect. It's almost like a active camouflage. Does it? Let's see. Actually,
Yeah, that's the hard
let me
thing.
reread the details.
Yeah.
So you put your foot out of it?
Yeah, at first I'm just sort of stepping out, leave my hand in there, and then I'm seeing does it does it despawn, and then I step out. I'm right in front of it, but I'm outside of
But your pinky toe is still inside of it.
it for now. Yeah,
just
I'm
your
trying
baby
to see,
toe?
like what the limits here this is.
It stays.
And now I take my pinky toe out.
It disappears.
Ah, okay. Well, that's good to know.
For while you were in there, for those that stepped inside of the dome, the kind of the wind whistled around, and then there's some like throughout the camp, there has been some little bit of wind whistling through, and then there's been a little dampness in the air actually, which is kind of rare for the desert, but that's part of what allows this grove to be. So you get that kind of like cool misty air in the morning, and as soon as you step inside, it feels warm and toasty and comfortable and the right amount of humidity. Optimal. As almost optimal as environment as it could be.
And why have we been sleeping outside for the last week and a
just-
half?
I just figured it out when we got here. That's what I was working on last time. So the little arcane drawings and stuff, and I just figured it out. It's one I leveled, but yeah.
Okay, so also, as a note, the just in the like when you cast the hut, only those that are inside it where you cast it will have entry and exit.
Oh, okay.
So you have to cast it on top of us.
Yeah, and then
We just
you
have to
all
get
can,
a lot more personable when we're sleeping.
and you all can come and go. I won't be able to leave it, so I can't do a watch outside of this. But it's, I mean, y'all saw it from the outside. It was kind of camouflaged, and nothing like they can't get to us while it's going, and it lasts 8 hours.
That's perfect.
So this is gonna make our travel a little bit better. I think.
What happens? My question would be like suppose there's a Mongol horde charging at us, and you cast this thing around us, and we get inside. Can we just wait 8 hours before they can do anything?
So can they.
That's what my question is, though. Do they have to wait?
I believe so.
Like, just a minute, guys. We need to rest. So we'll be back in 8 hours.
But at 8 hours and 1 minute, things are going to get really interesting.
Okay.
So the one thing that this spell has always had this very interesting debate that goes on. It creates a dome. Can you tunnel under the dome? What if you do it on a slanted surface? Does the dome have a noticeable gap that people could walk? Like this has been the kind of stuff that you see on Reddit. Like people breaking apart and trying to break or whatever the spell in its intention.
So I wanted to test out a little bit of it just right now. But yeah, I suppose a demon portal could maybe open up at the bottom. Just hope that doesn't happen.
Sandworms from underneath, could they come up?
Okay, Dune.
Or Beetlejuice.
That'd be interesting.
Can you
Or
can you
Tremors.
can you teleport? I mean, sorry. Can you cast the spell so that it's centered on you instead of being like a fixed location?
It is. It cast where I am, so it's just wherever I am. It's going to come out 10 feet around me. And if that orcish horde or whatever horde was coming towards us, they would need to be 11 minutes away and not have ranged.
I see.
So-
And since the whole battle last night lasted 18 seconds.
That's like
I got
61
you.
rounds.
I have it. I understand now.
the scene in Monty Python where the guys are running across the field and the guards are standing at the door and they're like running and then
Oh
like
yeah.
replays and they're running,
Mhm.
running.
They're far away, and then suddenly they're there,
Yeah,
stabbing people.
yeah. You see him running and then like while he's casting, it just clips the part where they're starting the run at us for 11 minutes.
Hey, you see Captain's eyes kind of glimmering. He's kind of uh, hyper right now, and he's like, I think maybe in time I could make this bigger. And maybe just get there from a doorway, and I could just something much bigger. I'll have to make some notes on this.
Perhaps
Is
some
it
kind of magnificent mansion, perhaps.
Perhaps.
is it bigger on the inside?
I think it's the same. It's 10 foot radius. So I think from the outside and the inside it's gonna look the same.
Yeah, this spell at this level is just a dome of force, effectively,
Okay.
that makes contact with the ground and controls the atmosphere inside of the dome, and has some kind of opaque coloration that can be camouflaged into its surroundings. Not that it
Alright,
is
well.
in full, like, it's not invisible, but it can be colored to be similar to the surrounding terrain.
Okay, so like a chameleon,
Yeah.
not like an invisibility cloak.
Yeah, Kaz is just making little notes in his notebook now. So whatever you want to do.
Well, if we're done with that, shall we go pack our actual stuff?
I suppose so, yeah. I guess if it's still early, we'll try to get food from anyone who's still cooking food. If there
Food's
are
good.
any.
I like
Mhm.
food.
I guess there's probably still a military mess going.
Maybe try to grab a road beer.
Maybe some pocket bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that voice in my head. Pocket bacon's a great idea.
All right. Well, so you start gathering up your things, beginning your pack, so you can make way without much time delay. It isn't very long at all before the armorer comes over and has basically a package. It looks like it's wrapped in brown paper bag in a way that he hands over to Thena. Is it, ma'am? As ordered.
Thank you, thank you. I unpack it and throw it on.
So look at the party sheet in the inventory for the barbed moorbounder cloak.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I love it when we just like do something that's really just an RP thing, but it actually gives something to it. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
So it's normal. So it does operate very similar to. It's still a light armor, but it is like studded leather. Normally, studded leather takes some kind of metal studs or spikes, but since it has that natural barbed skin that's really hard, he is able to fashion it in a way so it works like the armor effectiveness of studded leather, but also has the secondary ability of being steel barbed in itself.
That's awesome.
So
say-
the barbed armor makes it very difficult to grapple you and or be pushed or shoved or anything like that.
That's very good work. Did we catch his name?
You did not.
That's very good work. And what was your name?
He had actually dropped off the package and left, but before she had opened it. So and then you can see that he had returned to the other armors, and he's beginning to gather some things up himself, and probably getting ready to sleep since he hasn't done that yet.
I just sent him a message. So that was very good work, sir.
Like a brief pause, and then
Who said that?
what?
Yeah. I'm possessed.
What the hell?
Hello?
Noah. Oopa.
I really should put a disclaimer on this thing. I'm just the wizard. I'll send another message. Just the wizard you just were by. Good work, sir. You can reply to this message.
Uh, thanks? I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Is he watching me sleep?
Yeah, I don't see
You
anything
can,
else.
you can see him like he's standing over on the other side of the camp. He's just like looking around like a crazy person. looking under his arm, like looking down to the side, like looking up, looking on top of stuff, like, what the fuck is going on? There are probably many that are used to this kind of thing, but there's exceedingly more that are not used to receiving instruction or
I just forget
conversation via message.
I just forget everyone's not a wizard.
It's like, I'm so tired. I'm hearing things.
Oh, that was great. So yeah, I guess we gather up things, grab a bite, maybe some rations to go.
Sounds accessible to me.
Cue the Lord of the Rings walking music.
No, I don't hear music. Is there music playing?
This atmospheric stuff is all I hear.
You don't hear the camp music?
No, I hear something. It was kind of low.
I just hear the campfire.
Yeah, I just hear campfire too.
Oh yeah, you might have to reset that.
There we go.
Oh yeah. At some point, as we're walking out, I just kind of casually mentioned to Balasar, it's like, you think if we stayed in, that's where we would have been assigned to the mage group?
Sorry, what was your question?
If we stayed in, do you think that's where we would have been assigned to one of those mage companies?
Maybe you.
Mage needs people to, protect them.
Yeah, but that's the other company.
I'm pretty sure those kind of mages didn't need any extra protecting. They sound like they're pretty BA.
Until they all died.
Yeah, well, that's their job, right?
Oof.
Protect the Empire at all costs.
And it paid a little above minimum wage.
It is not for them to reason why, it is for them to do and die.
That's why I'm not in.
Alright, so you gather everything up, you make way, you start heading east towards on the road to Bazazan. I need someone to roll me a d20.
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Okay, he'll do it.
Wait, can we just use his roll from before? It's 19.
No, we should definitely roll a 1.
Shockingly,
D20.
it's 15. It's not bad.
Oh. Better than him.
So you travel, trying to make good time throughout the day, and as you travel, you seem to have very smooth sailing.
Is the big map open? Or can you remind me how to open it?
I can do that.
I like seeing our little progress marker. Am I safe to close the palisade fort?
Yes.
Okay. In the distance. Thank you, sir. Look at us, moving along the road, making good time.
So you find a good place to make camp for the evening. You kind of set up your watch rotation, kind of take a moment to ponder the events over the last few days, the battle that you'd gone through. You'd been kind of numb emotionally, perhaps, due to the extreme that you've been stressed over the last few days. But now some of that's starting to settle in as you think about it a little more, as to kind of really what has happened with the loss, the invasion, the death of those around you, and your successes.
I will take my 22-minute little 2 rituals here and do an alarm, and then do make sure, okay, everybody stand here, and then to the Leelman's tiny hut.
I see us getting more comfortable with each other, and just the confident smile that we're all, there for each other. Feels good.
We will all probably die at the same time.
Me first.
Alright, so I had the original watch order to be Kazran, Balazar, Athena, and then Brutus is the last one waking up at dawn, beginning the meditations and stuff. Is that still the order that you plan to take on the normal?
Yeah, can I sit in the hut and have my bird fly around and see through my bird?
Yeah?
That's how I'll do my watch then. And I'll look for any damn water genasies that are probably moving at the speed of sound.
That have at least a day or two's lead on you on the way out of here.
Because we stayed for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch was just one hell of a lunch.
Well, you also got delayed a little bit along the way.
Yeah, we were talking to Ushu, and he was introducing us to you guys and all that stuff.
And, you ran into some big nasties and had to stop and rest, and maybe they didn't rest as much.
Yeah, speaking of which, now that Brutus has some little night vision goggles, how much do we want to rest at night?
Well, I can't. I got to sleep. Come on now. Just because I can see.
Yeah, but I mean,
The
you
slave
don't need that
drivers.
much sleep.
I need to sleep.
Huh?
You crazy elves.
Why is the GM rolling things?
Yeah, that's scary.
So you take your watch rotation for that first night. Athena, I need you to roll me a perception check.
Oh shit.
So you're sitting kind of in the hut, watching the others kind of sleep and then looking around. You have pretty good vision. The hut's kind of sequestered off to the side and hidden in a good way, and its coloration is good, so you don't have a lot of fear about the surrounding area. You're kind of looking up at the night sky, looking at the moon. Something that has always had a strong relationship with you. And tonight, Katha, the large moon, is fully no, not fully, the opposite. It is completely invisible. Right, it's a new moon for the evening. Normal, that's expected. Ruidus, the small red moon, normally is mostly just a sliver in the sky, but tonight the moon is full, and as you're kind of looking at the stars and at the moon, and you see Ruidus flash red.
Friggin' blood moon, come on now. Flash red, what does that mean?
It's almost like it twinkles, but it's gone in a moment. You're not entirely sure if did you just see that or not. Ruidus does flash, and there's some mythology that goes with the flash of the Ruidus moon. It is not known normally to be a good omen.
In Wildmount, moon flashes you.
Enough of a bad omen that I would rouse everyone and tell them to get a move on now.
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
Could you type the name of the moon out?
Perhaps, if I can make sure I spell it right. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So there's quite a few. It is rare for Ruidus to be a full moon. It does not happen all that often. And it is known many times in the history of Exandria that the red flashing of the moon sometimes goes along with, or at least the mythology says that it goes along with some of large events in history. So, like the birth of a prominent person who would go on to lead to great victory or do great evil or something along those lines. Sometimes it's thought to be some kind of signifier of some significant thing. Others think that it is that it is more not about what is to come in the distant future or the setting up of some things, but the kind of like a death knell toll for things that are happening. And some think that it conveys powers to others. Some believe that it is a curse. Some, of course, attribute it, like many full moon, both Katha and Ruidus both, to some mysteries and supernatural things like werewolves and the like, which are known to exist in the world, but are somehow linked and tied to these astrological events.
Is it the next day yet? Does she tell us about this on the thing? Did you tell us about this on the next day?
So after nothing happens on the watch, she wakes Brutus up. Brutus takes his watch and then goes through his meditations and then wakes everyone up. That's up to y'all. It is the next day.
I may casually mention it to the guys as we're packing up and eating breakfast, packing up, getting ready to head out.
Can I roll? Can I? Is that an Arcana check? Do I know anything that it might typically mean as far as the bad omen thing, or things historically that may have happened, like a history roll? I'm also proficient in history.
Um, since it's mostly mythology than it is like it's not known scientific fact or historical relevance. It's mostly like there's like literal cults, and I mean there are people that study the moon and try to connect that with history, in but that is not kind of the general thing that takes place. Most people, it's more like old wives' tales kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. It's mostly poppycock. Like if you're born under, you know, Venus, then you're gonna get married when you're 23 and have 7 kids.
Ushu had a vision about blood and golden amulet and curly haired figure that we must find, or they must find, someone must find.
Oh, do we have more details about that vision? That was before Riv and I joined you, I guess, through the vision part. We knew there was a vision, but we didn't get details. We didn't know there was a curly-headed.
Well, we've seen lots of blood already.
Yeah, that's about all I have from. I'm not sure. Just paying a whole lot of attention to them. I'm just thinking about, hey, a job, cool. We'll go in, have a few laughs, go to Bassel's End, get a job, yay. Uh, the so I tell them about how we found the amulet, and it was the Genasi who had the first vision. I'm grabbing through my notes and said she saw someone who said, I'm imprisoned here. Moonweaver. I have the word Elixium in my notes, and I'm not sure if I misheard or what. Moonweaver, Elixium, I'm lost. Spectral figure in the amulet. Save me, please.
Oh,
And
wow.
then Ushu the next day said he had a dream of blood and a golden amulet, and they must find me a curly hair figure. I didn't think they were linked at the time, but right now I kind of feel just about everything's linked.
Moonweaver.
Yeah, the Moonweaver's one of the prime deities, right?
The
One of the good.
Moonweaver, yes.
I'm not sure what the Alexium is. I'm not even sure if I heard it right, but that's what I wrote. If we ever catch up to that speedy little Genasi, Kazan's still just bitter. Maybe we can get some more details. No, I don't know if that's linked to seeing the blood, the moon flash red. When you start looking for things, so you'll see it everywhere. But
Yeah, I don't think it's much of anything. Just thought I'd mention it. Well, then again, who knows? Might be everything.
Yeah, Elixion, you know the name because that was the name of something that Ao was calling out when she was in the trance when she first touched the jewel. When it was still on its original pedestal. So she's the one that saw the actual vision from the jewel, and when you touched it, you did not. But then she let you, like as victors, she let you have the amulet, and then when you talked with the elder, like it was almost destined for that to be the outcome.
Yeah, I believe Ale said this wasn't for me, or quoting her. Not that necessarily it was for Kazarin. I don't know why they gave it to us. That other group seemed like probably the better choice, but I guess she didn't want anything to do with it after whatever vision she had. So
Can you blame her?
no.
After what we've seen?
So I suppose we head east again.
Carry on.
So let's try to see the.
How soon does Balasar start picking up little pebbles to walk behind Brutus and ping them at him whenever he's playing his little flute?
I was just getting ready to say that I was tinkering with the pan flute. Whatever, you know.
I believe the performance check is coming.
I'm satisfied with my pocket bacon.
Yeah, that was from the Elder show.
So those are the two passages of text that I had told you when the elder came to you.
Oh, shit! I didn't even get the Jewel of Three Prayers in my notes. Of course, when Kazran heard all this, he didn't really believe any of that mumbo jumbo. He's just looking for a job.
I don't think any of us believed it. But now? I don't know. Seems more believable than not at this point. Demon lords and
I remember back in my day, we just fought kobolds and saved
Collected boar
wenches from the
asses and we liked
well,
it.
and
So after a little discussion in the morning, you set off again to try to make way for the to try to make good time towards Bazazan on the second day of since leaving the grove. And it is not long after you leave in that morning that you feel sluggish. You feel just weak.
what the heck?
What did you cook this morning, Balasar?
Everything.
Everything we had. I guess we're out of rations.
Garbage stew. Just put everything in them.
can I detect the can I smell anything like a gas or something in the air that would have this effect?
Your smell is, for lack of better words, muted. Like you smell the air. Like there should be some some of the as you're entering kind of the barbed fields. Like there's usually some, not just like the dust of the road and those kinds of things, but there's something that actually smells in the barbed, like almost a little sulfurous, normally, and it's like you can smell it, but everything just seems to like your senses seem muted. And they're just not working as well as they used to.
But I can't perceive anything particular about
Are we walking through like a poppy field from the Wizard of Oz or anything like that?
No,
Hmm.
it is. So what was very sparse grassland, with very little trees, occasionally, on the road north of the Grove, headed back to Jagao. As you reach here, like on your second day, it started to turn from, you know, somewhat sandy mixed with some grass and shrub, some really tough shrub, to now it's just hard packed clay, dirt, and there's very little to no vegetation anywhere. Some maybe some tufts, not even like desert, like sand and cacti and that kind of thing. It is just more like wasteland.
Wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Still some pretty hardy, scrub brush kind of stuff here or there, but you know that as you go further into the barbed fields with these jutting rock protrusions all over the place, that it's going to be less and less vegetation as you move forward. So no, nothing, no visible gas, no weird smells, no weird
I guess-
plants around you.
I guess because we feel weird, then at least from my perspective, I would try to just be hyper vigilant. You know, like when you're falling asleep and you're trying to keep your eyes open, that kind of feeling. I guess I'm just trying to be hyper vigilant because I'm lacking something.
Did we feel any sensation like when the big demon portal, when we were near it? Is that similar to that at all?
You did not. No. The only things that like you felt physical power of force when you were near it, as it started to open, just like you get that hair standing up feeling, like highly electrically charged air around you. But no, there wasn't anything like this.
Go ahead and cast detect magic and just kind of reach to my amulet. Is it pulsating? Is it doing anything outside of the normal?
It does not. You kind of scan around, and other than, the magical dagger and some other little small trinkets that you might have, you don't pick up any magic anywhere that would be the source of, especially not the source of whatever this effect is.
Hicks didn't say anything crazy would happen here. Crazier than, the normal crazy. We didn't really ask if.
For the time being, the game mechanical effect is that you have disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws.
This is like 1 point of exhaustion.
I've traveled this path before and never had this happen.
That is correct. This is not a normal environmental effect.
Is it getting denser as we travel towards Bazzoxan, or just kind of staying at the same muted level?
Yeah, you just as you started moving forward, uh, you didn't because when you woke up, you just kind of didn't notice it because you woke up, and then as you start to move about and you start traveling and you've gone just a little bit, you're like, wait a minute, something doesn't feel right. I'm kind of tired. I'm a little slow.
I want to put my hand on Balasar's shoulder real quick and kind of warg into my raven, and he's flying up much higher. Does he feel? Do I feel okay as the raven, or does he feel like he's under these effects as well?
Oh, that's a good idea.
He seems to be under the same effects even as he flies overhead.
If something in the air, it's in all the air.
So you continue on further, a little down the road. Yeah, we're fixing to, actually, just a moment.
Once the moon attacks us.
the actually, I was just going to describe the next thing, and then we were going to take a break, so that works out.
Yeah, we just gotta put the girls to bed.
Yeah. So the it's only another like hour down the path that you see what looks to be like a caravan wagon that has been turned over, and you can see like the whatever beast of burden that was pulling the wagons are gone, and you can see that it looks like it has been not ransacked, so it doesn't look like a battle took place here. But as you kind of get a little bit closer, you notice the like almost like Wizard of Oz effect, the legs of a corpse sticking out where the wagon had fallen on the whoever it happened to be. And with that, we were going to take a break.
Okay.
What time you want us back, boss?